You know, you're really going to have to thank those lobbyists of yours. This is such a nice lunch.
Thanks. It's from the Fund Sterling Foundation.
I like it.
So anyway, I'm so glad you guys can make it to lunch. As you know, it's 1964, and this will be my first time voting in a presidential election. I felt a little bit nervous. What have you guys learned about the candidates?
Well, the only real contenders here are Johnson and Goldwater.
Johnson? Don't get me started on Johnson. That son of a gun is forcing integration on me, and my precious state's rights are being violated again and again, and all of it is hinging on the commercial clause. This is a shameful abuse of the Constitution. I won't take it anymore. I'm done. I quit. I'm done.
Well, you know, people are people, and I think your state's rights are really racist rights.
Ooh.
And, you know, have you even seen what's going on in our country? We need someone who's going to take charge, and I think Johnson's the man to do that. I mean, he said he was going to commit to civil rights, and he did. We need someone who keeps his promises in office.
Wait a minute, Vermont? Like, man, you actually support Johnson? Far out! You haven't gone Democratic since, like, ever!
Well, I mean, that Daisy ad really turned me off to the idea of having Goldwater and his warmonger tendencies. You know, Johnson's working on a nuclear non-proliferation treaty with the United Nations, and this treaty would help end nuclear armament and prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote peaceful cooperation. And also, there's an outer space treaty with the USSR that would make sure that the Soviet Union doesn't put nuclear bombs over our heads. So.
Wait. But hold on a second. Johnson's a warmonger too. Who knows what he'll do in Vietnam?
Oh, wait, let's go back to the space thing. Didn't Johnson rename Cape Canaveral Space Center to Cape Kennedy?
Yeah, who does that? The Cape was named after a sugar cane plantation, quite respectable and fine just the way it was. So, just not else.
Bullpout! That man was assassinated, and fairly recently.
Alright, we'll miss him, but we gotta deal with the president we have right now.
But, like, dude, Johnson's doing a lot to honor Kennedy's legacy. Like, he's practically got the same cabinet, and his war on poverty is a continuation of President Kennedy's vision. I mean, this Economic Opportunity Act has got everything. Like, student financial aid, loans for farmers and small businessmen, and new programs like the Job Corps and Volunteers in Service to America to train the unemployed and spur volunteering, not to mention the Community Action Program. Plus, there's just something, well, great about, you know, a great society.
Hey, I think I actually saw that speech.
Yeah, sure, let's just increase government meddling.
Hey man, this is important stuff. With food stamps, more people can be sure of a meal. And with Head Start, more kids will be able to go to preschool. It's programs like this that'll help reduce our poverty levels by 10% between 1967 and 2012.
Okay, well, I've got to head home now and get these peaches canned. And, so,
Yeah.
DC, have you made up your mind yet?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sold on Johnson. So I was touched by his commission to after President Kennedy's assassination. For that, I just thought that was nice, and like he put Chief Justice Warren up to it, so that's why it's called the Warren Commission. And he put him in charge of the investigation. They discovered that the lone killer, Harvey Oswald, acted alone, and there was no plot against the government. And I have to say, a man who is willing to put his resources into investigating his predecessor's death is definitely a man who will take care of our nation.
You're making a mistake, DC. He's not even going to be on my ballot. I can't deal with that guy.
That just ain't right.
Soon after.
Hey guys, the second election, I'm still not feeling too confident. Do you guys feel this way when you have to vote? So what's going on up there in the primaries?
Well, who cares about the primaries? They're just primaries.
I do.
They don't matter.
You know what I care about? the Great Society legislation. Like, can we talk about Medicare and Medicaid? Sure, Social Security taxes are up, but so is healthcare for the elderly. The immunization program is a go, and health research projects have been receiving more funding.
Yeah, right? And Johnson's work on Housing and Urban Development Act from 3 years ago, remember that? Thanks to the expansion of federal funding, housing projects have made more homes affordable for people with lower incomes, and the rent subsidies for elderly disabled. My grandma finally got a place now. She's gonna live near that.
Right on, right on.
Okay, well, while I'm not totally psyched about the expansion of federal power, by extending federal aid to schools for, like, the first time with the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, he did give a boost to our country's young scholars.
All this book learning and internal development is fine, but did you see what Johnson passed in 65? The Voting Rights Act of 1965 violates my ability to govern my people. I just can't believe literacy tests are gone. Just like, poof, gone. How are uneducated people supposed to decide the best thing for our nation? I don't understand.
I know, I totally agree. Suddenly he just waltzes down here and tells me how I can run my elections?
That's my
The nerve of that
No.
man. That's not fair.
Okay, alright. So we all know how you southern states feel about
Oh,
that.
watch your mouth, honey.
But you know that as a derogatory term?
Yeah, you southern.
I think you should let Vermont
Hey,
speak.
we all love each other, okay?
My latitude is not determined by future.
So anyway, you're wrong about the Voting Rights Act. You know, it gives everyone an equal opportunity, and it shows that Johnson kept his promises, which is what I said we needed in a president. He's still working on civil rights. But anyway, listen, can we talk about foreign policy for a second? I mean, he sure made the right decisions in that bit. He made sure we didn't end up with a second Cuba in the Dominican Republic. I mean, his intervention in that country ended a communist government and put Reed Cabral into power. And we need to stop communism. Also, he was right in supporting Israel in the Six-Day War. Talk about diplomacy skills.
Alright, if you're going to talk about foreign policy, we need to address the elephant in the room.
Oh.
Johnson made the wrong decision
I
on
can't
Vietnam.
believe you just
Wait,
said
what was that?
That was
These
her
might get to
draft
read it.
card.
Who's draft card?
She literally ripped her draft card in half.
Listen,
Four pieces.
Johnson got us too deep into Vietnam. The Gulf of Tonkin resolution was a mistake. We don't need to give that killer any more power. Our young men are going over there every day. They're being drafted every
I think
day.
you need to sit down.
California.
I think you need to listen to the truth. The truth.
Honey.
Give me
No, our young men are being killed every day. We are burning down villages every day. In the name of what? Protection against communism? Communism? Is it worth innocent lives?
California, I think you need to sit down.
I think you need to hear the truth.
You're a little
California.
hyperactive.
I think you need to listen to the truth.
Calm down.
I'm curious, you guys. Who are you going to vote for?
Johnson's still not on my ballot.
We need
Come
a
on,
candidate
Bella.
for peace. McCarthy.
I don't know. The Great Society is still pretty good.
It stopped being great when Johnson picked up the war.
Okay, well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling Kennedy. I think he could be a great president.
Well, don't forget about Nixon. He's the man of our future.
They can't lick our dick.
I don't.
What'd
I
she
don't-
say?
You two are on about Nixon, and I'm the only one here who cares about peace.
Okay, but
Lasting
Kennedy can do
peace.
Johnson said he
Kennedy
wanted
would be
peace
pretty
too.
great.
Johnson got us into this.
Kennedy.
What?
I shall not seek, and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
Whoa.
What?
I mean,
McCarthy for peace.
I think Kennedy has a better chance
Excuse
here.
I'm
me?
pretty sure
Definitely
Nixon's gonna
Kennedy
win.
has a better
You'll
chance.
see.
He's
We'll
a
rally.
gentleman.
We got this.
It's only
Meet
noon.
me, Chicago, 1968.
I'll be
We'll
there.
throw down.
Is it strong?
Nixon's
McCarthy.
gonna win.
You wanna go? I'll be-
Guys, I think we should be done.
And this needs to
Reconvene
go
in 2018 and talk about this. I think in a classroom would be nice.
Okay.
And maybe we should lay off the wand too.